Want me to lock it right when the video starts, or when Maureen gets on, maybe?
No, I would wait till like 10 after.
Okay. No, it's gonna yellow starting.
Here, I need to mute myself.
You guys all, 1 minute. 1 minute and 10 seconds.
Maureen, what are you doing?
I'm getting rid of 2020, everything of 2020 in this office. We need to just move on.
Well, I have a lot more in my office. Would you like me to bring it to you?
Oh, no.
How do we create economic opportunity for all Minnesotans? that benefits, yes, businesses, but also allows a pathway to be created for individuals who want to start a business, grow a business.
The Dakota County Regional Chamber of Commerce is working on a number of critical issues that are important to the prosperity of our community.
We rely on the Chamber to help facilitate conversations.
They're an advocate for you when it comes to city policies.
They're really helping us with some key issues like transit.
We need to get them into work. We need to get them out of work safely.
Not only do we have 200 plus employees and more to come when our residential project opens, when our hotel opens, we also host training camp, which for now, the second year in a row, we've averaged about 60,000 people coming to training camp. So transit opportunities, transit options are really important.
Because if we're not able to move goods and services, customers, employees, if we don't have the right housing and the right marketplace that surrounds housing, we have a problem going into the future.
We know that if we want to continue to grow in this community, that we have to have a full range of housing that meets the needs of our constituents.
So how do we create economic opportunity? We do it by strengthening the business climate in Minnesota.
The Chamber is committed in helping all of us grow our workforce.
And so we really rely on the Dakota County Regional Chamber of Commerce to be that influential voice for public policy.
Maureen and staff and the entire board and organization has been extremely welcoming and very important as we've gotten established here in Eagan.
Many times in talking to young business owners that move into the community, I tell them one of the most important things that you can do is join the Chamber of Commerce.
And partnering with the Dakota County Regional Chamber really helps us help the world trade.
We really believe that by partnering with the Chamber and all of you, we will strengthen not only our own individual goals and objectives, but yours too.
And the power of us in partnership with the DCR Chamber, we look forward to a fantastic new year, the chance to work together to propel Minnesota's economy forward, and to set that path towards 2030.
We're pleased to have the Dakota County Regional Chamber of Commerce to be our influential voice and to be the power of us.
And it really is the power of us.
Welcome to the 2021 Dakota County Regional Chamber of Commerce Annual Meeting. My name is Maureen Scalen-Fahler, and I'm the president of the Dakota County Regional Chamber of Commerce. I am so pleased to have all of you join us today. And I just want to start out by saying, it wouldn't be any fun if we didn't have any technical issues this morning. So I appreciate people just kind of bearing with us, but we're good to go and it's going to be a great program. So thank you very much. But our theme today is transforming our communities for success. We have all witnessed and experienced the COVID-19 pandemic that has impacted our world, communities, and businesses over this last year. It has been challenging for every business in every sector. The challenges we face, the obstacles we overcome, the grit. Sorry about that. The grit demonstrated has made us stronger and more resilient as businesses, as a community. In 2021, we will put our energy and focus on recovery, but we will be drawing from the lessons learned and strength gained from this past year. Today, we celebrate the resiliency of Dakota County business community, even in the face of a worldwide pandemic. We have been flexible. We have shown innovation. We have showed commitment and a keen desire to be the best. All of us have shown how we can transform our communities for future success. But first, I have a message from a person who has provided leadership for all Minnesotans as we have navigated uncharted waters this past year.
Hi, Dakota County Chamber, Governor Walz here. Thank you, Maureen, for the opportunity to share a few words virtually today. It's always an honor to speak with a dedicated group of leaders in our business community. working to expand economic opportunity across all parts of the state. You've all made enormous sacrifices to your bottom lines for the good of our state this year. I'm proud to say that last month we passed a bipartisan bill to provide some direct targeted aid to keep businesses afloat, support Minnesota workers who are struggling to get by, and to help families put some food on the table while we continue to fight COVID-19. But I think the good news is the sun's rising, Minnesota. Our future's looking brighter because of the arrival of the vaccine, but we've still got a ways to go. While I share your same goal in getting our economy back up and running at full steam, I need your help in keeping our loved ones, neighbors, and communities safe while we build towards that. And I want to say thank you for everything that you've done and the sacrifices you've made. It will be a brighter tomorrow. Thank you, and have a great annual meeting.
Thank you, Governor Walz, for joining us today, and thank you so much for your support of the Dakota County Regional Chamber of Commerce and our business community. Without sponsors such as these who have sponsored our program today, this helps us build and strengthen our community, and doing programs would not be possible if it weren't for our sponsors. So I would like to acknowledge all of our sponsors who are on the screen. Thank you so much for your continued support. We couldn't do it without you. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce Andy Schreiner, immediate past chair of the Dakota County Regional Chamber Board of Directors and Regional Director of Government Affairs for Lumen.
Thank you, Maureen, and thank you to everyone for joining us today for our annual meeting. We appreciate and are pleased with your participation. It's been an honor and a privilege to serve as chair of the Dakota County Regional Chamber Board of Directors this past year. Needless to say, 2020 was a challenging year for our chamber. However, with quick, proactive adjustments in the way we do business and making these necessary changes, we've successfully ensured our members have critical, up-to-date information as we navigated the pandemic. Thank you to the chamber staff for their excellent work and dedication in supporting member businesses this year. And I can't stress enough that point. The staff here has been wonderful over the past year, and their work invaluable in our successes. We're pleased to present 2 awards today, recognizing 2 outstanding individuals in our community who have contributed to the vitality, vibrancy, and growth of our communities in Dakota County. The Dakota County Regional Chamber's Legacy Award honors a dedicated business professional based in Dakota County who, through their leadership, mentorship, and business acumen, has made a lasting impact on their company and the economic vitality of Dakota County. This individual is a true leader in the community, in their industry, and among their peers. It is my honor to introduce the 2020 Dakota County Regional Chamber's Legacy Award winner, Rick King of Thomson Reuters.
He's an icon. He really is. The respect that Rick has throughout our community, throughout the industries that he is involved with, is just second to none. We are so happy that he represents us as the chairman of our Board of Commissioners.
You know, Rick is one of those people who runs toward the big problem when others run away. So he's always willing to take on big things. And we've done quite a bit under Rick's leadership.
He is a true tech innovator on many fronts. What distinguishes him is his persistent drive and focus on diversity and inclusion
You know, Rick has accomplished a lot in our technology world, supporting our online customers and so on. But maybe one of the highlights is the work he's done around developing people and actually building structures that help to develop people. One that I'd point out is a program he was really the sponsor behind with Leadership One to help develop our female talent. And that has just been expanded out to hundreds of people now across our organization and is a lasting tribute to Rick's focus on developing people.
I remember that discussion kind of referring to, well, we've got so much construction going on, it's going to be really hard to reach those goals during those periods. And I remember Rick saying something to the tune of, well, we can compete as a minor league hockey team if we want. But if we really want to achieve and aspire, we should choose to compete as a major league hockey team. And when I heard him say that, I thought, this is an organization that I want to be part of because of leaders like Rick to compete at the very top level. And that's where Rick has brought this airport.
Now, I think a distinguishing characteristic is the willingness to listen and not having to be right. But once you listen and bring ideas to the table.
I do think what's important to Rick's success is that he does get a lot of people involved. He thinks very creatively about what resources he has available to him, both inside of our organization and outside, and he partners really effectively.
He has challenged us all. He has held us accountable to be the very best that we can be. And Rick brings that out in everyone that he associates with.
Building confidence in one area helps so much in the other. That's one of the things I've learned from Rick is those skills kind of play out in every component of your life.
Wow, what an amazing video. I'm humbled. I really, I'm almost speechless, but those of you that know me realize that I always have something to say. So thank you very much, first of all, to the Chamber, to Maureen and all the Chamber staff and the board members. I just really want to say thank you for all that you do. I reflect on what was said about the Chamber by the speakers before, and I think those are really quite true. This is an incredible honor. I appreciate it. I appreciate that we've had board members that continue to serve on the Chamber, and I'm so glad for that. We have a great connection with the Chamber at Thomson Reuters. And I note a lot of Thomson Reuters employees are on here today. A lot of friends are on here, and even my favorite curmudgeon, Alan Miller, is on here today. So thank you all. You know, it's hard to believe that in about 10 days, I'm going to be done after 20 and a half years at Thomson Reuters and 43 plus years of work as a teacher, as a coach. I coached football and baseball. I was the hockey referee, high school, college hockey. I even taught driver's ed for some extra money in the winter. And I'm telling you, teaching in icy roads in Vermont was kind of a challenge. I'm looking forward to the next chapter. It's not going to be an executive job, but it's going to be a lot of interesting things like the things I'm already doing. If I go back a bit, in 2006 and 7 was the first time that I got involved with the Dakota Chamber. And it was on a subject along with the city of Eagan that is back in prominence today. It was about broadband. Very interesting. We started to go through a survey of what Dakota County and what the city of Eagan had in terms of broadband service, working with at the time the president of US West, John Stanek, with Andy, who worked at that organization at that time, and working with other entities that provided service. We started something called the Gig Group. People asked me, why was it called the Gig Group? It was because we were looking for a gigabyte of speed to homes, and people thought we were totally insane with that. Well, that spawned the Ultra High Speed Broadband Task Force that I was asked to chair by Governor Tim Pawlenty in 2008 and 9, strongly sponsored by Representative Sandy Mason and Senator Jim Carlson. And that group actually ended up passing legislation that set broadband speed goals for our state. We were extremely proud of that. And the groups that have followed have since been meeting and exceeding those goals. But that all started with the chamber participating along with the city and with Thomson Reuters and many other of the entities in the Dakota County area. It's such a relevant topic today because without good, affordable broadband, people are not able to connect to the resources when they're at home trying to be safe from the COVID pandemic. Those places that paid attention to what we said back then, over 10 years ago, are in the best shape today. But there are still corners in Minnesota that need the kind of help that we set out in that original report. And I would implore us to invest and work hard to get border-to-border broadband at an acceptable speed in every part of our great state. It's great to be a part of Thomson Reuters, which is the largest employer in the county. As I said, we have board members for a long time, Michelle Engdahl. We now have Kate Bachman there. We encourage civic and volunteer opportunities. At the company in headquarters in Minnesota, anyway, in Eagan, we call the site MSP because we're a global company. We are the largest site in all of the 25,000 employees and locations in all of Thomson Reuters. So we have an outsized sway in some of the things that are going on. About 50% of our employees live in Dakota County. TR recorded over $360,000 worth of volunteering in terms of giving in 2019, and we're on pace to exceed 400,000 in 2020. In addition, the volunteer hours were over 35,000 hours in 2019 and just over 40,000 hours in 2020. And many of you represent organizations in the not-for-profit world that we have benefited through those volunteer efforts, and also other entities around the whole Twin Cities. I'm really, really happy with that. And a shout out to Ann at Darts, one of the beneficiaries of that. We've done other things beside DART, Dakota County Legal Aid, Dakota Woodlands, Open Door, 360 Communities, Neighbors, the YMCA, and LifeWorks. And of course, one of my favorites is that we provide the studio for Eagan ETV in a landmark partnership with our business and the city of Eagan a number of years ago. We continue to host that studio in our lower level in our building. It's a really great partnership, and I'm very thankful for that and all the activities that we shared with the city of Eagan. When I last spoke to this group, it was time to talk about the airport, and we also spoke about the replacement of something called MNLARS, the Vehicle Licensing and Registration System. And I just want to give you a quick update on that. MnDrive, its replacement, was launched in November and is doing an exceptionally good job with the work that has to be done. And a lot more of that work is done remotely by the state, and there are a lot more self-service opportunities within that software. I'm very proud of what the technology organization and the Department of Public Safety did in the Department of Vehicle Services. They've done a great job getting that launched. It certainly is a 180-degree approach from where we were with MNLARS. And you know, that's an interesting thing, because how do you do that kind of thing during a pandemic when times are stressed? And people just jumped up and kept going and persevered. And that's part of what this session's theme is, actually. How do you persevere? How do you get ready for recovery when you're dealing with this pandemic? And it's a challenge. And when I think about that at Thomson Reuters, we spend a lot of time planning on what do we have to do to take good care of our employees. We've upped the amount of COVID leave. We obviously have shut down for non-essential workers in our office through the middle of the year, and we've adjusted that a couple of times previously as we need to. We've added different health measures for people. And when we come back to work, when we can come back to the office, that is, we will have health measures in place so that people will have the ability to feel safe when they go to work. So this is part of trying to figure out, how do you recover? How do you get ready? How do you think about new business opportunities that might not have been present before? How do you harness the idea that you can do things a lot faster than you ever thought of? One example for most companies, and also for the state, was how quickly you can enable a remote workforce to do almost everything you need to do in a pandemic. For the pandemic, people used to say, well, that'll take us a year or two to do. But somehow we did it in 30 days or less. Let's take that pioneering effort, that thinking, that fast moving, that design thinking, and move it into what we do every day. You know, when I think about what my legacy is, some of the folks mentioned it kindly enough. I really believe that everything that ever happened that's good is because of good people. And anything that, including success, that I've been able to have is always attributed to good people. So I would just strive to say it is everybody's job, not just HR's job, to make sure that we have the best people and we take really good care of them. Because in the best people are all the best things you want to happen in your business. So make sure you know who they are, cultivate them, and keep it going. And now I'm going to begin to wrap up. I want to talk about just exiting gracefully. A great columnist named Ellen Goodman wrote a column on the topic of leaving in the business that she was in for the Boston Globe in 1976. And she titled it, "When an Exit is an Entrance." She coined the phrase exiting gracefully for me. And I just want to read a quick quote from her. "It is as hard to exit gracefully as it is to age gracefully. There is a trick, I suppose, to exiting gracefully. It begins with the vision to recognize when a job is over and let it go. It means leaving what's over without denying its validity or its past importance in our lives. It involves a sense of future, a belief that every exit line is an entry, that we are moving on rather than moving out. The trick is retiring well may be the trick of living well. It's hard to recognize that life isn't a holding action, but a process. It's hard to learn that we don't leave the best parts of ourselves behind in the office. We own what we learned back there. The experiences and the growth are grafted onto our lives. And when we exit, we take ourselves along, quite peacefully." I always loved her columns. I hope you do too. Thank you again for this great honor, and I wish you the very best day.
Rick, thank you very much. We really appreciate everything you've done for the chamber, for the community, and thank you for the culture that you've instilled over at Thomson Reuters and the culture of giving back to the community.
Thank you for the great award. It really looks nice if you can see it without the reflection. It'll take a prominent place on my office shelf. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Our next award is the Dakota County Public Official of Note, which was designed to recognize the contributions a Dakota County elected official who is committed to ensuring our communities and counties can thrive and prosper under favorable business conditions. This is the first time we've awarded this, so it's our first ever recipient of the award. Tom Egan, retired Dakota County Commissioner for District 3, is this year's recipient. Tom?
Well, I want to congratulate you, Tom Egan, for an illustrious and wonderful career as a public servant. I always remember and like to tell the story about the special distinction that you had of being mayor for a 2-year term, a 3-year term, and a 4-year term. That doesn't happen often in a community. As we transition from 2-year to 4-year, you hold the record of serving those 3 distinct terms in one community. But Tom, I think of you also as being kind of the infrastructure of Eagan. And what I mean by that is when you and I started back in 1978, there were no interstates, there were no water treatment plants, hardly any public buildings. And thanks to your leadership, your contribution, we have the interstates in the early 1980s. We have water treatment plants. We have many public buildings. The city hall that I'm standing in. Thank you so much for leading our community and taking it from kind of the ground level up, creating all that good infrastructure, including the employee infrastructure, the organizational infrastructure that you helped put into place, and hiring department heads and giving us the number of people we needed to guide the city. One other thing I have to say is I don't know about county government, but when you were on the city council and mayor, there were many, many city council meetings that went till 2 in the morning. We'd start at 6:30 in the evening and we'd still be here at 2 the next morning, and you were expected to practice law at 8 o'clock the next day, and I was expected to be in City Hall. Those were some turbulent years as Eagan was growing and feeling that stress of growth as a community, finding our way. But we wish you and Betty a wonderful chapter in your new journey beyond the public service in a formal way with the city and the county, and I know you'll do more volunteer work. But and thank you, Betty, for giving Tom that time to serve the community and the county.
Tom, your commitment to excellent public service is visible throughout all of Dakota County. From your years with the City of Eagan, to the Metropolitan Council, to the Dakota County Board of Commissioners, you have led in a principled, well-prepared, and passionate manner. You will be greatly missed, and your actions are evident throughout all of Dakota County. Great job and congratulations.
Tom and I are fellow Rotarians, and we've done many projects together in Rotary. And we're also a member of a senior traveling group called Rotary Ramblers, or as Tom likes to call them, the Traveling Troubadours, where we travel around the area, around the state, and view areas of interest, mostly day trips. But I'm just here to say today that I'm grateful that Tom's here, has been with us as City Councilman, Mayor of Eagan, and Dakota County Commissioner all these years. I'm thankful for all he's done for us. And I want to say, Tom, we'll be looking for more time to travel together. Have a good retirement.
Tom Eagan has had an exemplary career in public service, serving as mayor, a member of the Metropolitan Council, and in these past 16 years as a member of the Dakota County Board. And at each step along the way, he's helped make this community one that is great for everyone to live in, where governments at the local and the regional level are focused on helping people, their households, their businesses, their jobs thrive, and the region as a whole to work well together. And Tom and people like Tom exemplify the kind of glue that holds our communities together, holds our governments together, just generally makes us a better place to live for everyone. So I'm just really grateful for Tom's service and wish him and Betty and his whole family all the best in the coming years.
Now what do I do? Well, I want to thank everybody from the Dakota County Regional Chamber, the Board of Directors, and all of the sponsors of the Dakota County Regional Chamber. I cannot begin to tell you how grateful I am. I am absolutely humbled beyond belief for this award. Thank you immensely from the bottom of my heart. You know, it's been truly an honor for me to serve in local government and regional government for most of my life, spanning 40 years. As Tom Hedges indicated, both as mayor and council member for the city of Eagan, I served under the Pawlenty and Ventura administration for a while on the Metropolitan Council, and I'm just wrapping up my 16th year as a member of the Dakota County Board of Directors in District 3. And I appreciate all the opportunities that I had to serve in those capacities over the years. But I learned early that it takes many people and a lot of passionate and thriving businesses in order to make any community healthy and vibrant. And that includes the businesses that belong to the Dakota County Regional Chamber of Commerce. I learned this all my life, and I have strived to interact with those businesses and the people that operate them for all these years, including the years that I served on the Apple Valley Chamber of Commerce when I was practicing law in Apple Valley. We are so extremely fortunate to have chambers of commerce such as the Dakota County Regional Chamber in our area that are dedicated to this area's shared vitality. And I feel so extremely fortunate that I have been able to interact with you, establish friendships and relationships with so many of you, and I will carry those friendships and those relationships on for the rest of my life. Thank you so much. As we come back from the greatest public health emergency in a century and the most abrupt decline in the employment and economic activity since the Great Depression, we need that collective work and spirit more than ever. I am confident that Dakota County will come out of this crisis as a much stronger, in a much stronger position because of our shared commitment to this place and our commitment to each other. So in conclusion, I want to thank you immensely from the bottom of my heart for how humbled I am by this incredible award. It is beyond belief. I never dreamt that I would receive anything like this. Thank you so very, very much.
Tom, on behalf of the Dakota County Regional Chamber, the COVID pandemic has affected every business in every sector across the globe. To survive, we have had to rethink how we continue to engage our employees, stay relevant to our customers, provide quality services and products, and be responsible, active citizens in the community. Consciously or unconsciously, we have had to reflect on our organization's founding mission, core values, and guiding principles. Today, we want to showcase and celebrate 4 businesses in Dakota County. They have shown ingenuity and tenacity, flexibility, and partnership with a compassionate commitment to employees, clients, and customers in the face of a crippling pandemic. As you watch this next video, think about ways you, your organization, your employees have pivoted, changing course, and remained strong. These are the stories of 4 businesses, but it really is the story of all of us.
Year of really just taking care of each other, both as the employer and the employee. There was no way for any of us in the restaurant industry to anticipate that or to have the kind of cash cushion financially to absorb that. So it was a little bit of a panic at first when we, like when the revenues went to zero. But we recovered well. We, worked with our vendors and just innovated all year round. People are going to continue to want to take food to go, as well as outdoor dining. I think there's going to be a whole new level of demand for outdoor dining as we move into 2021 and just having year-round options to get people outside. I think it's working not only, with our teams to continue to evolve and be flexible, but also to work with each other as an industry. I think we're seeing that more and more. I'm on several group text messages with local restaurant owners, and it's comfortable. I mean, we consider ourselves competitors like day in and day out, but all that kind of went away this year, and we're more sharing ideas and resources and just helping each other out. The servers are coming in and doing to-go food and and not working for tips, or they're helping us with the barbecue drive-throughs, and we've supported them as much as we possibly can in a very challenging year through our food shelf that we did for our hospitality group in Eagan, and the barbecue drive-throughs. For a difference, we raised $50,000 for what we call the Employee Relief Fund, where we've been able to help out employees who maybe couldn't make a car payment because they've been laid off. We're not a chain. Yes, we have 4 locations, but we still very much consider ourselves a family, locally owned restaurant group that gives back to the community as much as we can. We almost never say no to somebody who has a letter in their hand looking for a donation for a sports organization or church group. And we've tried to continue to do that even throughout this. So I think that's really what I think stands out with us is Amazon's not going to sponsor your little league team. It's the local restaurants and local retail places that are always going to be there for the community.
The biggest thing that is an advantage, I guess, as an old family company is you remember the stories that have been passed down by generations. And one thing that I uncovered in some of our materials is that in 1918, during that pandemic, our company, which was also in garment manufacturing, switched over and was making masks. And so it's kind of ironic, 102 years later, that was one of the first things we did was start making masks, as there was nothing available. The first thing we did, I guess the first instinct was panic. And then after we panicked, we decided that nobody's going to lose their job. We're going to keep everybody working. So we came up with all kinds of things that haven't been getting done. We'll get through this. I was really impressed with the resilience of our employees and the willingness to take on different tasks. We made huge strides in improving our company-wide communications. So when the pandemic hit, we set up a separate COVID response meeting that for 2 months, we were doing these meetings every day. And I think that more than anything gave us the structure to stay organized. And then one of the outcomes of that is how do you cascade the message? Because people panic when they, am I going to lose my job? What's going to happen? Nobody knew at that time. We could look back on it and say it was really bad, but at the time we had no idea how long it's going to last. I think it's all about the people. And it sounds so glib, but without the workforce that we have, loyal, dedicated employees, when things came back, we had the workforce. Our industry was designated as essential early on. We had to make deliveries, and we're known for being dependable, known to have the best service in the market. We're in the keeping clean and safe business. And even for ourselves, how much more careful we are about cleaning surfaces, not being too close to people, how we deal with, if you're sick, don't come to work. And I could see a real benefit in the future of continuing some of these practices, because you think about, well, what about the regular influenza or the common cold? And how much cost goes into those things that will be with us continuously anyway.
I was very pleased and proud to see staff at every level of the organization digging in, embracing the change, and coming up with new ideas that we could implement really quickly to maintain safety, but also deliver the services that we could, the best that we could. We have a workforce that is so passionate, a lot of times based upon their own personal experiences, and own personal struggles and sort of a desire to change the world or to be, kind of one person at a time. A group of people working in a nonprofit, not making very much money. It blows my mind that staff commitment, despite those challenges. I worry about how we're going to continue to maintain and grow that workforce. We had 2 days to go remote, and they just got everybody's computer and technology configured and set up, making sure that all of our staff had the resources to work from home and understood what were business critical needs. We had to work with the federal government and our state government to get waivers so that we could provide the services that we normally provide and bill for virtually. So it was really about stabilizing our revenue and assessing. And then from there, it was just, I'd say the third stage is just keeping up with all of the information, trying to keep myself from not refreshing the Department of of Health's website on cases, almost just day-to-day updates on the CDC recommendations. And then I think realizing that we were going to be in this for the long haul. The bottom line is we've been able to deliver all of our services virtually to clients, except for some very intensive ones. We do have 2 treatment centers where clients live 24/7. And so those programs have stayed open throughout the entire pandemic to just get to know our community and understand the needs that are out there, working to kind of talk about mental health in a way that's less stigmatizing and more productive and healthy. And I think that the more that we interact with the local business community, they see those needs, but maybe don't always know how to talk about it. And so I think that it's been it's a nice give and take to be able to build those relationships within our community and really support each other.
What I've learned is be ready for anything. Anything can happen. Cash flow is king. Make sure you have a war chest, because guess what? You can be blindsided at any moment. When this thing started, I was fearful for our future and everything. And, I guess what I've learned is be flexible and don't worry about change. Change is not bad. Change can be good. To navigate through it took a lot of pivoting. And in order for the cash flow to increase, you have to do 2 things: increase revenue and decrease your expenses. So the first time I heard we were shut down, I looked at our 3 biggest expenses and ran to our landlord here, Marvin Windows, they're wonderful, and said, we're going to be facing a shutdown, and would you work with us on deferring our mortgage to the back part of our lease? And they were very accommodating then, and we just did that again during this last shutdown. I went to our bank, and we had some loans at the bank, and we figured out some ways to reduce their defer payments on that, and then actually the SBA took over and helped us even more on that. But then a lot of people were afraid to come out, especially during the first shutdown. So what we did to keep people employed is we started a delivery service, and that was extremely successful. The patrons that ordered from us were amazing. They ordered a lot, and they tipped our drivers, who are employees that were going to be furloughed. Our community is amazing. We try to give back as much as we can, just because we believe that we're living in this vibrant community south of the river. And we've just been amazed by the support that we received during the shutdown, and then we were open back up. We knew it would be important for us to invest a lot into the sanitation and into the social distancing of our brewery, because our society is going to change through this. And it'll be interesting looking back on what we did right and what we did wrong. Big is not better. That being in your community and staying home is not all that bad. We've already seen a huge trend, from when we started to now, how people take pride in their community and in their businesses in their community. Try to be grateful for what you have and what they've given you. That's kind of what I would say. Life is full of ups and downs, And it's during the times when you're down is when you learn the most about yourselves and your business. Boy, there's a lot of hardy Minnesotans that like to go outside and drink beer. And because of those people, the Bold North drinkers of craft beer, we've been able to bring quite a few of them back. I mean, I think almost all of them will come back.
Thank you, Tony, Jim, Julie, and Dan. And thank you to everyone who submitted stories of perseverance. Those messages were very heartening for us to read and review. I think in 2020, the word nimble best describes how our chamber reacted to the events that occurred. We were in the trenches, working with members who wanted assistance and guidance from us, from navigating through financial relief programs to providing no-cost marketing opportunities, and to simply providing a means of keeping people connected to the larger business community. It was a goal of our board to support and work with all of our businesses, and early on we recognized it was important for the board to reach out to our chamber members to reinforce that we were here to help them. Besides responding to the challenges of COVID, we've been busy on several key projects. In September 2020, the Chamber, in partnership with East Metro Strong community stakeholders and business organizations, as well as Christoph Spieler, transportation consultant at Hewitt Zollers, concluded a Dakota County transit opportunities analysis. 6 short, mid, and long-term goals were established, along with 15 recommendations. This included expanding transit throughout the county, capital investment, and using technology to enhance transit. This is the first private sector study that has been done in Dakota County, and it was funded through our regional employers and the DCR Charitable Foundation. We thank those sponsors for their assistance in getting this program funded. Phase 2 of the study is in development. The Dakota County Regional Chamber of Commerce continues to make the top 10 list of chambers of commerce in Minnesota, as published by the Minnesota Business Journal for the last 10 years. Our membership, despite the COVID crisis, remains strong, and we look forward to a strong 2021. Signature events are the cornerstone of the DCR Chamber. These events allow the Dakota County Regional Charitable Foundation to raise funds for the Chamber initiatives, scholarships, and community partners. COVID, and I'm getting tired of saying COVID in these remarks, but COVID and the safety precautions around it prevented us from hosting many in-person events. But we continue to provide education and value to members with pertinent relative topics and expert speakers. And if we can brag a little bit, this chamber was one of the first business organizations to move to virtual programming. Our first Zoom webinar was held on April 3rd with Metropolitan Council chairs Charlie Zelli and over 90 businesses Zooming in. The Women's Leadership Forum, with a theme on Empowered with Purpose, spoke to the importance of supporting and investing in the world around us to succeed. How we can impact our personal and professional lives comes in many forms: as a mentor, a civic leader, a volunteer, or a business owner that contributes to the community. In July, the Dakota County Regional Chamber, in partnership with 24 other metro area chambers and the Minnesota Vikings, held Unite the North, a virtual program update on their business preparations and a preview of the recently completed 2020 season. And it was moderated by Paul Allen, voice of the Vikings. Those conversations all occurred with Andrew Miller, Chief Operating Officer, Rick Spielman, General Manager, and special guest Mark Wilf, the president and owner of the Minnesota Vikings, as well as players Kirk Cousins and linebacker Eric Kendricks. It made a great event, one that we were proud to be a participant in. The DCR Golf Classic, typically held in June, was moved to September 28th, 2020, where over 116 golfers played on a beautiful fall Minnesota day. We raised over $2,000 for our charitable foundation at that event. Thank you to all those golfers that came out. I think it might have been the only gathering that we had once the pandemic hit. In 2020, we had planned to add a community outreach initiative to provide opportunities for Dakota County Regional Chamber members to volunteer with local nonprofit organizations that needed service project assistance. Of course, COVID limited what we could do with that, but in early November, we were able to do a service project with darts by performing a fall cleanup project for senior citizens in Eagan. We look forward to being able to do more in 2021 once we can safely come together. In early August, working in cooperation with the Minnesota Department of Employment and Economic Development and the Minnesota Department of Administration, the Dakota County Regional Chamber coordinated a mask distribution to all businesses throughout county. 248,000 masks were distributed at 8 distribution sites through the county. Working with our area chamber partners allowed us to provide masks to over 2,000 businesses. Thank you to Skyline Exhibits for your generous support in allowing us to use your facility for this event.
Thank you. You know, this really shows how important our work is as a chamber in supporting our businesses. And I'll tell you, this community really rallies together when times are tough. Going out and support the local businesses, they're in it together and they want to help.
It's great to see so many businesses out here and distributing masks as well as picking them up. It's a really important part of keeping Minnesota open, is making sure that people mask up.
On the small business loan, everyone who has come through has been very appreciative, first of all, of getting face masks for their businesses and for their customers. And secondly, we have not heard any complaints about the mandate requiring face masks. So we're in it together and we need to get through this. So people are willing to do what's necessary.
Trying to get on top of this virus because the quicker we can get on top of it, the quicker we can get out of this and we can get back to some sense of normal.
4 million masks that the state of Minnesota had, and they were trying to figure out how can we get these out to the hands of Minnesota businesses. 87 chambers in 87 counties received face masks to distribute out to their communities. We received 284,000 masks here in Dakota County. So again, this is what happens when private sector and public sector come together. We can really make a difference. Never in our lives did we think we would be where we are today with COVID-19. But we have to do what we can to help our businesses and our members navigate through this. And again, that's just what we do at the chamber.
Finally, in 2020, over 2,000 business members, community leaders, public officials attended chamber programs, events in person and virtually. The DCR Charitable Foundation has been reorganized in the past 14 months to be more effective and better aligned with the organization. New board members, new bylaws, and renewed energy come with that reorganization. I want to thank the 6 DCR Chamber Charitable Foundation members for their work this past year, and 2 more additional board members will be added. A special thank you to our foundation chair, Mark Loftus, for his efforts to get this reinvigorated. Each of you supports the foundation in many significant ways, such as raffles, wine pools, and silent auctions at events such as the Women's Leadership Forum, Business Excellence Gala, and Golf Classic. Many member organizations make direct contributions to make fundraising at these events successful. We all look forward to strengthening the charitable foundation and its renewed vision. Thank you, everyone, for your past support, and we look forward to the future. Finally, it's been my honor and privilege to serve as chair of the Dakota County Regional Chamber of Commerce. I'd like to thank my fellow board members. The participation and the attendance at board meetings throughout 2020 was nothing less than spectacular. This is a very engaged board and very active board, and you demonstrated that throughout 2020. So thank you to the board members. I'd also like to thank my employer for allowing me the time away from work to be of service to the Dakota County Regional Chamber. It's now my pleasure to introduce the 2021 Chair of the Dakota County Regional Chamber Board of Directors, Janet Benton of Twin Cities Orthopedics.
Thank you, Andy. Andy, on behalf of the Dakota County Regional Chamber Board and its members, I want to again thank you for your leadership in 2020. It wasn't the year we had planned, but your dedication and hard work helped us to get to where we are today. I am very pleased to serve as the board chair in 2021. Twin Cities Orthopedics is a supporter and partner of the Chamber. We understand the importance of partnering to achieve mutual goals. The Board of Directors held its annual planning session back in August. The board validated the Dakota County Regional Chamber mission and vision statements. These state that the Dakota County Regional Chamber will work hard to be the influential regional voice of Dakota County and be an active regional organization and catalyst for growth. Our theme today and throughout 2021 is transforming our communities for success. We will start the year by focusing on business recovery. We will improve our connection with Chamber members with enhanced and increased social media presence. We'll be providing business tools, resources, and opportunities for members. We'll provide access to experts through our business support series and the most up-to-date information on grants, loans, and other financial resources. We will continue with our public policy and advocacy initiatives, such as phase 2 of our transit study, workforce and affordable housing, equity and inclusion, to ensure access for all. Our public affairs program series and a new series called Dakota County Critical Issues Forum will focus on these initiatives and address many more important issues to our members, community partners, and stakeholders. In the third and fourth quarters, we will work to shape and develop our future leaders by mentoring young people and providing opportunities to learn about numerous careers. We will work with our school districts, Dakota County Technical College, Inver Hills Community College, and private educational partners. Finally, we will modernize and digitize as we refine our mission and value statements. The Minnesota 2021 legislative session, which convened on January 5th, will be critical to the business community. Our state's overall health and financial well-being will need to be top priority, now more so than ever. Focusing on establishing a long-term funding solution for transit and transportation, including maintaining our highways and roads, reforming healthcare, and most importantly, ensuring our business can continue to thrive and grow, are essential during this session. The future is bright as we enter this new decade. The administration of the vaccine and control of COVID-19, the clear and defined direction of our programs and initiatives, each chamber member's commitment and engagement to achieve our goals and objectives will ensure that Dakota County continues to thrive. Together, we will transform our communities for success. Thank you to all of you for your support of the Dakota County Regional Chamber. Thank you again to our sponsors. Without you, programs like this would not be possible. Please check the Chamber's calendar for future events on the website. I look forward to seeing you all, hopefully in person, at our programs and events this year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, and good riddance to 2020. We really are looking forward to this new year, and we hope you enjoy today's meeting. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day, be safe, and support our local businesses. Thank you very much.